Level 1. The Developmental Grinder. This is the bottom rung of the WWE ladder, and almost no fans ever see it. Performers at this level are signed to developmental deals, training for years at facilities most casual viewers have never heard of, working out in front of nearly empty rooms instead of packed arenas. Developmental contracts typically start somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $80,000 a year, a livable wage, but nowhere close to the money most fans assume every WWE performer makes. There's no fame here, no merchandise, no entrance music anyone recognizes. These performers often relocate to a single training city, living in modest apartments and treating every single training session like an audition, because it basically is one. Skill-wise, many of them are already elite athletes, former college wrestlers, gymnasts, football players, or other elite performers. They just haven't been given a character, a storyline, or a spot on the roster yet. The mental toll here is heavier than the physical one. Performers at this level can spend years in the system without ever knowing if they'll get called up, watching newer signees get pushed ahead of them, constantly reinventing their in-ring style and their look in hopes that something finally clicks with the people making decisions. Injuries hit differently at this level too. There's no massive contract cushioning the setback and no guaranteed spot waiting when they recover. A single bad landing can erase years of progress, and every performer here knows it. The ones who make it out of this tier usually aren't just the most talented in the room. They're the ones who can handle years of uncertainty without losing their identity. Level 2. The Main Roster Newcomer. This performer has finally been called up to the main roster, appearing on weekly television, but usually in a supporting or enhancement role early on. Main roster contracts typically start somewhere between $100,000 and $250,000 a year, a significant jump from developmental pay. Fame is still minimal at this stage. Maybe some recognition from hardcore fans who followed them through developmental, a modest social media following, but nothing close to mainstream recognition. What genuinely changes is visibility. These performers are now on national television every single week, even if their matches are short and their storylines are limited. Skill level here is often underestimated by casual viewers. These are performers who could headline shows in other promotions around the world, but on a roster this deep, they're competing with dozens of other talented performers for a handful of meaningful television segments. Locker room peers respect their work ethic. Casual fans barely know their name yet. Level 3. The Established Mid-Carder. Now we're talking about a performer who has a defined character, a reliable spot on the card, and has likely held a secondary championship at least once. Salaries at this level typically range from $300,000 to $700,000 a year, once you factor in merchandise, royalties, and appearance bonuses. Fame starts to show up here in a real way. Dedicated wrestling media covers their matches and storylines regularly. A loyal segment of the fan base buys their merchandise and chants their name during entrances. Some start picking up modest brand partnerships, a gaming sponsorship, a supplement deal, or a regional business partnership. This is where lifestyle starts to visibly shift. A nicer home, a reliable travel routine built around the touring schedule, and the beginning of real financial planning, instead of just living paycheck to paycheck. This is also the tier where a lot of performers start thinking seriously about longevity, because they've seen how physically demanding this career actually is over time. Creative input starts to matter more here as well. Performers at this level are usually trusted to help shape their own promos and character details instead of simply following a script handed to them. It's a subtle shift, but it's often the first real sign that the company sees long-term value in them, not just a short-term role. Level 4. The Upper Mid-Card Champion. This tier separates solid performers from legitimate championship caliber talent. Upper mid-card performers, the kind who hold major secondary titles and appear in prominent segments on premium live events, typically earn between $700,000 and $1.5 million a year. Fame expands well beyond the hardcore wrestling audience now. Mainstream sports and entertainment outlets start mentioning their name. They show up in general pop culture conversations, not just wrestling-specific ones. Some start picking up national endorsement deals, video game cover appearances, or crossover opportunities in other entertainment media. Lifestyle-wise, this is comfortable territory. nicer vehicles, a real investment portfolio, and the first real taste of being recognized in public outside of wrestling-specific events, sometimes even internationally given how global the touring schedule has become. Level 5. The main event player. This is elite territory. Main event players are consistently featured in the top segments of premium live events and are trusted to carry major storylines for months at a time. Total annual earnings, including merchandise, royalties, and bonuses, regularly exceed $2 to $5 million. Fame becomes a full-time asset at this level. These performers have management teams handling brand deals completely separate from their in-ring career. National commercials, talk show appearances, and major sponsorship deals become normal parts of their schedule. Their merchandise sits in the top tier of company-wide sales every single year. Skill-wise, these are the performers who redefine what's possible in a match. Highlight clips of their matches circulate constantly across social media. Creative teams build entire storylines around their character, and opposing performers know that sharing the ring with them is one of the biggest opportunities of their own career. Their schedule changes completely at this point too. Media appearances, press tours, and promotional obligations start filling up almost as much time as the in-ring performances themselves. Being a main event player isn't just about what happens on show night anymore. It's a full week of representing the brand. Level 6. The World Champion Crossover Star. At this level, the performer has held a top world championship and broken out of the wrestling world into mainstream cultural relevance. Total compensation can reach $5 to $15 million a year. But at this stage, off-screen income from acting roles, endorsements, and business ventures often rivals or exceeds their wrestling salary. These are performers whose names are recognized by people who don't even watch wrestling. They appear in major film and television roles, launch their own brands and product lines, invest in other companies, and sometimes become executives or producers within the industry itself. Their public appearances get treated like major celebrity events, with entertainment press covering them the same way they'd cover a movie star. Fame at this level comes with a real trade-off. Privacy becomes nearly impossible. Every public outing gets photographed. Every business decision becomes news. The scrutiny is constant, and it follows them well beyond the wrestling calendar into their entire public life. Level 7. The Generational Icon. This is the rarest tier in all of professional wrestling. We're talking about maybe a handful of performers per generation, the ones whose names become synonymous with the entire industry, recognized across the world by people who have never watched a single match. Financially, these performers operate more like global business empires than individual athletes. Ownership stakes in production companies, major equity positions, and long-term wealth that compounds for decades after their in-ring career ends. Their net worth is built to outlast their wrestling career by 50 years or more, often turning into multi-generational family wealth through business ventures across film, media, and other industries entirely. Culturally, they become symbols of an entire era of the business. Their matches get studied by future generations of performers and trainers. Their business decisions get covered by mainstream financial media, not just wrestling outlets. When they eventually step away from the ring, entire documentaries and retrospectives get built around their career, and their name becomes the permanent benchmark every future performer gets measured against. Even their retirement doesn't fully end their influence. Many stay connected to the business as producers, executives, or ambassadors, shaping the next generation of talent the same way someone once shaped them. Their legacy stops being measured in championships at this point and starts being measured in the entire industry they leave behind.